So here's an artist whose work is really great. This artist's name is Kimmy Cantrell, and I'm sorry that there's a glare on this page right here, but Kimmy Cantrell's artwork is made out of ceramic, but we are going to create masks inspired by his artwork that are made out of cardboard. So step one in this process is going to be to draw your plan. And we're going to use these images as inspiration, which basically means we're going to take some of the ideas and shapes from Kimmy Cantrell, and we are going to use them but make them our own. So I'm going to zoom my camera out so that you can see my full page. All right, so to start off this day, you're going to begin with a blank piece of drawing paper, and this is 9x12 drawing paper, and you're going to choose which shape you want your mask to be. Now, I have some sketched out already, so I have a shape like this, I have a shape like this, I have a shape like this, and there's lots of other shapes it could become. But basically, you need them to be very simple, because we are cutting them out of cardboard. And also, if you look at Kimmy Cantrell's work, his is pretty simple shapes. All the details and designs will come later, but the outside shape is very simple. Important, you need to make sure that you have used the entire page. So if I want a really tall, thin mask, I can do that, but I need to make sure that I'm using all the way from the top down to the bottom. So I'm gonna go with a shape kind of like this. Then I need to think about the facial features. Now, Kimmy Cantrell's artwork is really very geometric in its design, which basically means there's lots of really simple shapes. So let's start with the eyes, and we're gonna just look, and you know, we've had conversations in my classroom about the way that Kimmy Cantrell had placed his eyes on the masks. Often they are not in line, so there's one eye that's slightly higher. Sometimes they come off the edges of the mask, and sometimes they don't, and they're usually pretty large. So I created a sheet of different types of eyes that can help. So if you wanted to use an example from here, you're more than welcome to. If you have your own in your mind, you are of course encouraged to use your own ideas. So I'm going to leave some space above the eyes so that I can add some decorations. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make my eyes sort of towards the middle. Big. I really like the way he has his eyes like really big. And this one is hanging off the edge, so I'm going to draw that there. And I'm actually looking at this one when I'm drawing. And I'm going to try to do something sort of like his. So he has the eyeball there. Then the other one is sitting kind of lower. Now I want to make a different design there, and you know what? I can, and so can you. So if you want to, feel free. I'm going to make them looking up in that direction still. All right. Now I want to get on to the nose. I don't want to add any major details until I have finished all my facial features. So here are some different shaped noses that I noticed in Kimmy Cantrell's artwork. And I did also want to point out that his noses generally seem to be pretty long. Some of them are in the middle of the face. Some of them start all the way up at the top and go down. And I kind of think that's a really cool shape. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one. And I'm going to start it all the way up at the top. And I can just kind of skip over my eyes. And the first part of the nose is just a rectangle. And then only one side is like a semicircle that sits on the side of it to be one of the nostrils. And now the mouth. So I also have a sheet with different shaped mouths based on all the images we saw. Another thing we might have mentioned in a discussion is how often the mouth is actually two separate shapes. The top lip and then the bottom lip is separate. Here it's not separate. But even these, even though they look like they're joined together, it's actually two separate shapes that create one when they're put together. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my mask and see, maybe I want to do a mouth like this, and then the bottom shape If I want it to go off the edge of my paper, I can, but I don't want it to. After I've done this part, now I'm ready to start thinking about designs and details and, you know, textures and patterns and all that great stuff. So I'm gonna start by thinking about, do I want eyelashes? And nothing is a line, they're all shapes. Maybe I want an eyebrow on this one. And a lot of times, Kimmy Cantrell did this very asymmetrical thing where he would have an eyebrow on one side but not on the other. So it's not symmetrical, which means same on both sides. Often his work was asymmetrical. So I'm gonna look, I see some cool patterns in the eyebrows there. Maybe I can do like a neat design here. Okay. And I don't want to fill up it, you know, too much and go too crazy, because then it's going to start getting very like confusing to look at. So, you know, I'm not going to put a design here and here and here and here and here, because then it's just going to get very confusing. So I think I'm pretty happy with this. So after this step, the next thing you're going to do in the art room is you're going to cut this out with a scissor. So I'm going to stop the video and let you guys do your sketch. And when you're ready, you can go to the next video to see what to do after.